Fighty Radio.
Hello and welcome to this brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me is my co-host Albert Cita, and on the phone we have from beautiful Orlando, Florida. Guillermo
Straight from
Cita.
Epcot too.
For Epcot, right? Is that where you're at?
Yeah,
Man,
that's exactly where I'm at.
Guillermo's always
Must be nice.
We're planting the seed here for our official Disney sponsorship, right?
Yeah, there you go.
As much as Guillermo's at Disney World. Got a lot to talk about. We had 4 total fight cards from Friday and Saturday. We have one in Invicta FC on Friday, 2 Bellator cards on Saturday. 2 UFC cards on Saturday, and a Bellator 165. So a ton of stuff for fight fans to go out there and enjoy. But we're talking about Bellator 165, UFC Belfast and Sao Paulo. Talk about Michael Bisping, who's next a potential challenger is. Roy Nelson gets suspended for kicking a referee, and Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Let's get started with round number 1, if you will. Hold on here. Let me get the timer started. So, Bellator 165, Benson Henderson versus Michael Chandler for the lightweight title of the world, at least in Bellator's world, was an epic battle, an epic fight, I thought. I saw some German suplexes in there. Michael Chandler, I think when the spotlight is on him, he tends to deliver big time. This is probably his biggest fight of his career, going against a former UFC champion, WEC champion in Michael and Benson Henderson. And he actually did win. Split decision victory, kind of controversial, but now that this pushes Benson Henderson's record to Bellator to 1-2, he's 0-2 in title fights. Guillermo, I'm going to how would you grade Benson Henderson's move to Bellator? Is it successful, unsuccessful? Was it, if you get a letter grade A, B, C, D, F?
If I had to grade it, I would say A+, man. I think Bellator's getting their money's worth out of Benson Henderson. I mean, I think, me personally, I tuned into Spike over FS1 to check out Benson Henderson. So, in terms of ratings, I think it's an A+. Then you kind of got to be fair about Benson Henderson's record. I mean, it's the welterweight championship and then right into the lightweight championship. I mean, you can't fault the guy for facing the elite. I've given so much criticism Michael Chandler, but I think he rose to the occasion more than anything. I don't think Benson Henderson has lost a step. I mean, take away the record, he's been performing well, I think.
Yeah, Albert, this comes like we can kind of see as a Bellator guy beat a UFC guy, right? Or is it a little bit of a stretch here, Albert?
Well, I think a lot of things benefit Benson Henderson that a lot of people are looking over. One, he looks as smooth as ever. Yeah. I mean, the guy has swagger beyond belief, and I think that's an important thing because that's a sellable fighter. Yeah. And the other thing too is that it was a split decision at the end of the day, and I think nobody would be upset in the MMA community if they ran that back. Yeah. And with that said, he technically has 2 losses in Bellator, but if you look at the last previous 5 fights, it's still 3-2. Yeah. So I think he's still fairly in a good spot. I think if he loses 2 more straight, then it's pretty much the end of his career. If he
loses non-title match.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be concerned.
Exactly, yeah. If he doesn't fight Michael Chandler and fight somebody else and loses, then I mean, if it's Dave Rickles or something, no disrespect to Dave Rickles, though,
But, I've always been harsh on Michael Chandler for staying at Bellator and not challenging himself. But now that some of the elite UFC guys are coming over, just think about it. Michael Chandler beat Eddie Alvarez, and Eddie Alvarez was the champion at UFC. So, I mean, it shows you that Michael Chandler is up there on one of the top lightweights in the planet.
Yeah, well, technically, he has a win over 2 former UFC champions in Benson Henderson and Eddie Alvarez. So.
Correct.
But at the same time, too, I think Michael Chandler keeps showing why he can never be considered like one of the greatest. He really that first round he always puts a pounding, then towards the end he always makes the fight closer than what it should be because of those late rounds. Yeah. And until he adjusts that, I think it's hard to say that he can be considered the best in his division. Yeah. I honestly think he can probably just drop down. He almost runs into Frank Yeager, where I think if he was in a smaller weight class, he would actually do better.
Yeah. Well,
I heard him say against that. I guess he walks around at 190.
Well, he's a stocky dude. Maybe gotta lose some muscle, man. There ain't nothing wrong with losing a little bit of muscle.
Well, that's exactly the question the media asked Michael Chandler, and he said, no, 145 is so difficult because I worked so hard for this muscle to begin with. So
see,
he likes what he sees in the mirror.
I mean, he has an amazing, good-looking wife. Yeah. So don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to lose that wife either. If she likes the muscle, I'll gain all the muscle.
About them gains, bro. Yeah. So there's also Benson Henderson talking about him joining the military after his Bellator contract. So, Guillermo, to your point, like I think some people who will be criticized, oh, he's 1-2 in Bellator, but he kind of left for the big money. I think he wants to join the military after this contract's up. So I think why not get a couple big fights and then get a big payday from Bellator and kind of live your life, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's another payday left and another rematch against Michael Chandler, so it's there for him. I think it's kind of unfair too. I saw the criticism for Benson Henderson. Everybody said that he pulled Croker into a paycheck when he doesn't have it anymore. I think last night proved that he still has it in him if he's motivated. I mean, to tell you the truth, it could have gone either way. I mean, I would not been upset had Benson Henderson's hand been raised.
And if he really does want to join the military, there is age limits to the military. I think if I look up real quickly, I mean, I'm not a military expert, so no disrespect out there. Yeah. But it should be like around 34 for like the Marines and stuff like that, like 35 the Army, and then there's like different age limit depending on what branch. So if he really does want to be in the military, he's getting right down to the last inch of if he can join it. So if anything, he probably has one more year in him in Bellator, if that half a year.
Yeah, so that's it for round number one. Great fight for all around. The Bellator had a successful night. They had a pretty good card.
Awesome fight.
We're going to take a break and come back with round number two, talk about UFC Belfast and UFC Sao Paulo. Before we do that, I want to give you a big shout out to all of our one of our sponsors here, 5 Rounds Clothing Line. 5 Rounds Clothing offers a unique collection of MMA apparel and accessories. They incorporate the culture and style of attitude of MMA in the clothing line. They're constantly evolving and improving, becoming the best fight wear company possible in the MMA world. They make the fighter and fight fan look good. So check out their line of t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and other great accessories at 5rounds.clothing. Follow them on Twitter at 5roundswear. That's the number 5roundswear, and on Instagram at 5rounds_5rounds. Get it on. So come round number two. Welcome back. Time for round number two. So the UFC countered with Bellator's one championship bout with 2 cards of their own. UFC Belfast in Ireland and UFC Sao Paulo in Brazil. UFC, I think the first one was on Fight Pass. Second one was on Fox Sports 1. The first one was main evented by a rematch between Uriah Hall and Gegard Mousasi. The second one was main evented by Ryan Bader versus Little Nog, which is kind of weird. But I mean, both these fights were kind of rematches. The second one, Ryan Bader versus Little Nog, was a rematch nobody really wanted. So,
seriously.
So let's go up and down this card. I mean, Mousasi took care of Uriah Hall. But what do you say? He's kind of gentleman smack talk after the fight, right? Because we all know Uriah Hall knocked out Mousasi in the first go around. But what did you say after the fight?
Yeah, well, one, I thought it was funny because, like, Greg Mousasi obviously has turned heel on us. Yeah. But he almost went back to face because he respectfully said that pretty much said, that first fight against Hall was a fluke. And now you clearly see that I am the better fighter. Yeah. And he did some call outs out there. He actually called out and first of all, obviously he wants the belt against Michael Bisping, but he did say he'll take and there goes our sign. He'll take any fight, but he did say he will not fight Jacare.
He won't?
That's his buddy, and if they rather give the championship opportunity to Jacare, that he would just wait, which I was very disappointed.
Guillermo, this is now 4 fights in a row for Mousasi. I mean, people are talking about Yoel Romero and Jacare, but is he back up there now in the title contention?
No.
Still?
And I'll tell you, last night is a good example of why he's not there yet.
Wow. What do you mean? Yeah, TKO win.
Yeah, but nobody saw the Fight Pass. Nobody saw him on TV. Nobody even knew he fought, to be honest with you.
That's not his fault, bro.
You know what? If this fight meant so much, it would have been on FS1.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
not
Dana
on the
White
Fight Pass.
is a Mousasi hater.
It's just like if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it, right? If Mousasi knocks out Uriah Hall at UFC Ireland in Belfast, on Fight Pass, does anybody see it?
Before I forget, I feel so bad for Eamon Call. That guy's never going to fight.
Yeah, that was a count on him, though. He got sick, right?
Yeah, he got sick, but still, I mean, that guy, I mean, that's what, 4 straight bouts?
Yeah, 3.
3? Oh, man, I'm never going to see that guy fight.
All within on the fight night, too, right? So, also, UFC Belfast, I mean, Sao Paulo saw Ryan Bader knock out Little Nog, or TKO, just completely obliterating guys. Ryan Bader is still calling for a title shot, but it kind of seems for this guy's Albert. The story for Ryan Bader is he'll get close, and then once he faces a top 5, top 3 guy, he just gets obliterated by him. So.
And what's funny is the commentators kept saying that they think that Ryan Bader has stepped up and he looked a lot better, and he always looks better. It's just the fact that when he faces the elite talent, he's not that good. I wouldn't say that good. He just comes up super short. But I think also like he beats the people he's supposed to beat. But at the same time, they're not entertaining fights. I mean, I wasn't entertained one bit over this Nogueira bout.
Well, I don't think anybody wanted it either. It was like this a rematch that nobody called for. It just kind of it was a filler. Like, hey, we have an event here, so it's in Brazil, so we need a Brazilian. I mean, Guillermo. I'll say so. Basically, we had two UFC fight night cards on the same day, and one Bellator card. I think the consensus here that Bellator had a better card, right?
I guess more anticipated fights. I would say, no one it wasn't highly anticipated for Mousasi versus Uriah Hall, and it wasn't fully anticipated Ryan Bader versus Nogueira. It's one of those things where are we seeing a drop off? Okay, so Mousasi and Ryan Bader were probably the favorites in my opinion. Are we seeing a drop off from the opponents they were facing, or were they really elite level? And I think that's where they. I'm assuming the UFC wasn't sure as well, because as a fan, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sold on Bader, and I wasn't sold on Mousasi. Had they really improved since last time, or the other guys have been declining? So in all, I think the most anticipated card was on Spike TV. Everybody wanted to see the MVP, and everybody wanted to see the championship matchup.
Yeah, even going back to like anticipated matchups, bantamweight standout Thomas Almeida, who was basically on the verge of a title shot before losing to Cody Garbrandt, he fought an unranked fighter.
The guy was undefeated that he fought.
Yeah, so but he defeated him in the 90 in the second round. But like it was an unranked fighter, and it's kind of like, okay, well, it's almost like we just had exhibition. We had like just this is like we needed a card, so we kind of filled it with stars, and the matchups weren't even there. So
real quick before
Cody stole all that thunder from Thomas Almeida. To be honest with you, ever since that fight, Thomas Almeida.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have to bring this up, Guillermo. Is that Kevin Lee had an amazing win, which is one of our first guests here.
Our good friend, in Belfast.
But the key thing to his win though was he gets it right away. After the fight, he starts doing his smack talk. He sees what Conor McGregor is doing, and he thinks he can do it better. Yeah. Because he even said, "Look, everyone's over Conor McGregor's hype train. The guy's 28, I'm 24. The only difference between me and him is a couple of years." And so he did some good smack talking at the end, and I think Kevin Lee's really raising up his bar. He even says, "I'm tired of calling everybody out and no one accepting my challenge. I want to see someone call me out."
Yeah, well, he's done it before with Will Brooks, done it with Sage Northcutt. He I think after UFC 205, he said that Eddie Alvarez embarrassed the whole lightweight division. So the talent's there for Kevin Lee. Now we need to get that spotlight on him. But yeah, congratulations to Kevin Lee, our good friend on the show. The guys continue to do. I mean, Guillermo scouted him like one of his first semi-professional fights, right, Guillermo?
Yeah, I mean, like you saw it from the beginning. The wrestling's there. I mean, every other game of his aspect, he's been working on, and you see the big time improvement. And given his age, I mean, it's only a matter of time before this guy's making some noise in the UFC.
Yep. So that's it for round number 2. We're gonna come back and talk about UFC's middleweight championship bout between Michael Bisping and potentially to beat Yoel Romero. But before we do that, I want to talk about one of our great sponsors in Rockin Green. Rockin Green is an award-winning manufacturer of eco-friendly cleaning products. They're designed to make cleaning easier and greener. Rockin Green products are the best laundry detergents and all-natural cleaners because they're made with biodegradable and plant-based ingredients. They're septic and gray water safe. They're never tested on animals. Please visit rockingreen.com for more information and shop all their great lines of products. And follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and like them on Facebook. So we're coming up round number 3. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Time for round number 3. So this is kind of a continuation of the UFC Belfast card where we saw Gegard Mousasi had a big. I think it's a big win against Uriah Hall. Gamble doesn't agree. Albert says it's a huge win. Kind of getting him back in there in the middleweight ranking.
You guys are funny.
But according to reports, it seems that the UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping will accept a spring fight with Yoel Romero, who's almost murdered or decapitated Chris Weidman with that flying knee at UFC 205. I'm kind of surprised by this, just because Michael Bisping kind of running from people. And Yoel Romero, like him or not, he's a very dangerous fighter. Guillermo, do you is this just Michael Bisping being straight up? You know what? I'm gonna fight the number one contender, or do you see something fishy here with Michael Bisping? Is there ulterior motive here with the champ?
There is nothing fishy about this. He's rising up to the challenge. I think is Michael Bisping's biggest challenge to date. But the beef is real. I mean, we saw it at the pay-per-view. You know, the exchange at the end with the big syringe and motion. But the beef is real, so it's a good selling point. I mean, if you're gonna make money off of this fight, I think this is the best selling fight you can put together between Yoel Romero and Michael Bisping.
Yeah, I guess
compared to Mousasi, compared to Jacare. Even though I love Jacare, you guys know I love Jacare. I think that's the big money fight is Yoel Romero.
Yeah, he said. I think he has a radio show, the Countdown with Michael Bisping. He said, "Listen, quote, listen. I always say I've never ducked anyone in my life, and I never will. So that's pretty much it with Yoel Romero. Albert, what do you think? Is this? Do you think he's so? I don't know, because this is like.
I don't like this fight for his first title defense.
Just why not?
Yeah,
something to prove.
Sorry. Second title defense, because Yoel Romero's. I feel like even though he deserves it, he still should be somewhat punished. He like you cheated and you're just gonna get a title shot. I really think he needs to. I will make him fight 2 more times, even though he's deserving of it, because Jacare, who has always been clean, deserves a title shot more. Because
Yoel Romero got suspended for 6 months.
Yeah,
but Chris Weidman.
But what are you telling the rest of the roster?
What else do you want him?
As long you can cheat, and as long as you come back clean and then win, I'll give you a title. No, I think the Hammer has.
Jones did it.
I just don't like it. Even though he destroyed Chris Weidman, you know what? Destroy 2 more people and then get Michael Bisping.
Chris Weidman was a champion maybe 2 fights ago.
Yeah.
Or so I mean.
No, and again, see, I think Yoel Romero deserves it. Don't get me wrong, but I just think he should be punished even more than the 6 month suspension.
It's not his fault what the punishment is. He already served. I mean, it's not his fault.
It's just not right.
More.
And with that said, I think there's only been 2 times. This is going to be the second time I probably go for Michael Bisping. And the only reason I'm going for Michael Bisping is because I don't like that cheater, Yoel Romero. And I didn't like his afterwards comment. It wasn't right.
I don't think so either.
Well, I hate to say this to you, Albert. It looks like Yoel Romero will be the new champion.
Yeah, I guess.
And you could be right.
Yeah, so Michael Bisping was recalling a phone call he had with Dana White, and he said, "Quote: Sometime in the spring, 100% book the fight." So we'll see how it is. I don't know. I'm not really believing this, but I don't know. I think something's gonna happen. I don't see this fight happening for some reason.
Even Yoel Romero's trash talking it's cheating, bro. They interview him and he had the audacity to say Michael Bisping shouldn't bite the hand that feeds him, and they're like, oh, what do you mean by that? And he's all like, oh yeah, he asked me to train one time with him about wrestling when he was training in England. And then they're like, oh, and so did you train with them? And what happens? Oh, no, I was busy, so I couldn't even train. I'm like, just shut up. Then what do you mean the hand that's a cheating smack talk because you didn't even train with them. Shut up.
And not like Yoel Romero.
Hey, and the last point I want to make is there was a mini tournament going on. I don't know if you guys remember. It's not UFC fault or Dana White's fault that people dropped off, got hurt, didn't fight. I mean, Jacare should have taken. I know he wouldn't fight Mousasi, but Mousasi was available. Should have took that fight when Luke Rockhold went down. And then Luke Rockhold is odd man missing out on all this just because of an injury. Look, he's too busy with Demi Lovato that is fighting for him.
Yeah, no one blames Luke Rockhold for that.
Technically, if you ask me, he's still the champion of the division with that one.
He actually, that championship means more to me than the one he had in the UFC.
But yeah, honestly, Guillermo, I think too, real quick before we wrap up here, I mean, the middleweight division is still kind of it's pretty exciting, I think. We still have Tim Kennedy out there, and we're still waiting on the debut.
He didn't fight.
Yeah, but we're still also waiting for the debut of Rashad Evans. Who knows what he looks at 185? That picture that Dana White sent out after he got, he
looked like a beast.
Yeah, he looked shredded. So I mean, this could be one of the most exciting divisions.
And we still haven't seen Tim Kennedy.
Yeah. So.
But honestly, this sets everything back. All these setbacks. If you think about it, Luke Rockhold, Jacare, Rashad Evans,
but
Tim Kennedy. It's all a setback.
Let's
Yeah.
keep it real, guy. Let's keep it real. That middleweight title's gonna go around like candy, bro. Ain't no one gonna retain that for a while.
Well, exciting stuff.
It's looking like the light heavyweight championship a couple years ago.
Yeah,
that's exactly
they
what's
win it
gonna
and they lose it. So, all right, that's it for round number 3. We're going to take a small break and then come back and enter the championship rounds. But before we do that, I want to talk about one of our great sponsors in Redemption Martial Arts. Redemption Martial Arts is a nonprofit organization with the primary goal of bringing awareness to bullying and providing people with accessible resources and training to help them combat bullying confrontations. The Team RMA consists of individuals from all walks of life who share a common passion for making a difference and serving as anti-bullying activists, all of whom have been affected by bullying at one point in their lives. Some of them actually have been bullies themselves and ran reform and said, you know what, when I grew up, that wasn't the right thing to do. I want to teach kids, my kids, or
Russell Wilson was a bully.
He was a bully?
Yeah, and he said he's a recovering bully.
Look at that. It's actually a problem. Insecurities maybe they have. I don't know. So we'll go from there. But yeah, if you're interested and become a member of Team RMA, please visit redemptionmartialarts.com, and they're also on all platforms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Rise up against bullying. So don't go anywhere. Come back and enter the championship rounds. Hello there. Now it's time to enter the championship rounds. Let's go there to start with round number 4. Roy Nelson, UFC heavyweight contender, former tough winner, has been suspended, I think 9 months, Albert? Is that on there? 9 months or 6 months?
They have it up. Yeah, it's a 9-month suspension.
For kicking
John
McCarthy, or laying his hand on an official after his victory over Bigfoot Silva. Roy Nelson's gripe was that Big John, let the fight go on a lot longer because he was beating up his friend Bigfoot Silva, and I guess they have a beef before that, right?
Yeah, I guess they've been going a little bit back and forth. I think this is a huge thing because Roy Nelson's 40 years old.
Yeah.
The good thing is that the heavyweight division needs heavyweights.
Yeah.
But he's 40, 9-month suspension. That's almost a year, especially if you have to go into a training camp or, just to get a fight after your 9-month suspension. That's a whole year you take off. I really do think Roy Nelson shot himself in the foot by doing that.
Yeah, but what I think is interesting is that, I don't know if I read it right, but is there can that sentence be reduced if he apologized publicly?
I didn't read the details to anything, but if it is, he better apologize real quick.
Yeah, but also, is that kind of fair? I want to bring the point, but is that kind of fair for the referees? Do they feel should they feel unprotected by this? So, basically, these guys are trained fighters, and they could lay their hands on, an official referee and serve a 9-month suspension. Is this
he was fine as well.
Yeah, but what happens when in other sports when you lay hands on an official?
Yeah, so real quick before we go to that, yeah, if he makes a public apology inside the octagon or a press conference, and McCarthy has to be attended in it, the sentence will reduce to 6 months and a $45,000 fine.
So does the punishment fit the crime?
Yes and no.
I'm just thinking of other sports because they don't want we're other sports out there. But if any athletes lay their hand on the official, man, they get the...
Yeah, even the previous in last week's NFL or a couple weeks ago, if you remember, the one guy all he did was throw his glove or his towel towards the ref, and that was enough to not only get him kicked out of the game, but he got fined and stuff like that for it. They're really protected over the refs, and yeah, he touched the ref, and it's just weird because it was not in a threatening way technically, but at the same time, you cannot touch an official. Even last night when Benson Henderson kind of pushed McCarthy out of the way, that was just the kind of the heated moment. And it was a fun exchange thing. But even then, that's still a little bit. Yeah, if I was an official, it's a tricky one. Because it wasn't a big deal. To me, it wasn't really a big deal. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard the kick was or not.
You can't lay your hand on the official.
You cannot touch the official. It should be they're almost like
they're yeah. Do you think? I'm thinking maybe they should have took away the win. I think from them.
Yeah, I think they should have took away the win. They should have. It should have been a no contest. The fine. I think 9 months was perfect.
Yeah.
I think he would really felt 9 months.
Because I grew up a sports fan, and I see even in baseball when you bump an official, you're automatically out, you get suspended, and all this stuff. But this seems like this took a while they had investigated, and maybe because it's combat sports, so they figured that out. But I mean, if you're trying to compare yourself to the other elite sports of the world, you got to
lay down the hammer.
Yeah, you got to lay down the hammer. I know that obviously referees and umpires have a union. I don't think that'd be the case here I don't think they have a union for the MMA officials or combat officials.
Yeah, especially since it goes from state to state.
State to state. But I mean, it would be something to look into. I mean, because if that's me, I don't want any of these fighters laying a finger on me. But I don't know. I kind of think that, hey, if the whole public apology thing, I guess it's kind of. Didn't I put that on there?
No, then again, it was from the Brazilian court.
Yeah.
And those Brazilian courts are kind of iffy. And that's exactly why I'm probably never going to go to Brazil, because after hearing the way their court system works.
Yeah, well, just like all the Olympics.
I'm just going to tell you right now, if they're listening to this podcast and they heard me say that right now, that's probably like a year in prison in Brazil. So I got to stay the heck away from there.
But I mean, with all the thing, too, like with the World Cup, and then the Olympics, how bad it is over there, crime-wise. But I don't know. I thought that maybe... Whatever, but also too. Before we talk about suspensions, your boy Lyoto Machida got 6 months suspension.
Dude, they dropped the hammer on him too.
Yeah, but it's kind of retroactive, so he'll be available till November or 2017, right?
And the thing that sucks about Machida is that he technically didn't get caught. He kind of
admitted it.
Yeah, admitted it. But even with that said, he still received a pretty. 18 months. That's harsh.
And he's already he's going to be pushing 40, right? But when he comes back?
Yeah, he's one of those older fighters as well. But to tell you the truth, I'm more disappointed in Machida having to go that far. Like, he's 38 years old.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to take that extra resource to stay in shape. I think whenever a fighter has to take those extra things, maybe you should start looking into retirement. I mean, he is 38 years old. Yeah. He was already a champion. I think he did what he should have done. I think his best years are behind him.
Yeah.
He might have 2 good fights left in him, as far as one that I think people will be relevant and care about.
Yeah.
Just 2 more fights. But to tell you the truth, that should have been a sign that, maybe he should start wrapping things up.
Well, that's it. He was also so close to a middleweight championship too, that he probably thought, maybe if I get this, I'll get over the hump. But MMA fight fans, hate to break it to you, Roy Nelson and Lyoto Machida will not be knocked on anytime soon. So that's it for round number 4. We'll come back with round number 5, wrap things up, talk about this ridiculous media storm or rumor roundup that is pitting Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather that I'm personally sick of, because it's never going to happen.
I like it.
So we'll come back with that. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, time into the 5th and final round. Let's talk about Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Again, these rumors are killing me. I hate these rumors because
I love it.
You're on TMZ all the time, right?
Yep. 24/7.
Kardashians and
gotta keep up with my Kardashian news. What's going on with Kanye?
This stuff is so, because it's never gonna happen. So a lot of people keep talking about it. A lot of people keep debating about it and who's gonna win and what, and it has to be can it be an MMA fight? Does it be a boxing match? It's completely ridiculous. So I guess it kind of stands a couple of days after UFC 205. TMZ Sports caught up with with Floyd Mayweather, and they asked him about his thoughts on the Conor McGregor fight. So let's go ahead and play a little clip from there.
All right.
Ready?
He's like the Floyd Mayweather of the MMA, the UFC.
I didn't know Conor McGregor was undefeated. I didn't know that he had a reign in MMA for 20 years and undefeated, and was world champion in 5 different weight classes. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys telling me something new. If you say he's the Floyd Mayweather of the MMA.
What do you
I mean, if you say he's the Floyd Mayweather of the MMA, I'm trying to find out. Have you ever made $300 million in one night? Have you ever made $100 million in one night? Have you ever made $70 million in one night? So, as far as trying to say that he's the Floyd Mayweather of MMA, I mean, it's okay to just to say it, but it's not true. I'm a legend, a living legend. I gave just sport of boxing. I gave years and years of hard work. It was blood, sweat, and tears. Had a tremendous team, had a tremendous run. I think that it's time for Conor McGregor to go out there and do what he do. But never compare Conor McGregor to me. That's a total disrespect. I mean, once again.
So, total disrespect. And then Conor McGregor kind of responded just come say it to my face. They got
yeah.
in the city.
So what I do want to say about that though is that he one of the criticisms he said was about the belt, right?
Yeah.
A multi division champion. Keep in mind in boxing, the weight difference sometimes it's like a few pounds, like 2, 4, 5 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's easier to rack up
junior middleweight, super middleweight.
Yeah, so it's easier to rack up those belts, I think, in boxing than it is in MMA. In MMA, you're talking about a big gap between 155 and 145 and then 170.
Yeah.
Those are very big gaps as far as weight. And some of these boxers cry over 2 pounds, 1 pound or whatever when it comes to a fight. And so for him to say that, that kind of was annoying because, like, dude, sure you're a 5-time weight division champion, but not to the big gap that McGregor is going after.
Yeah.
Especially if McGregor tries to go for that 170. That's a huge weight differential than there is in boxing.
But I mean, what it comes down to, all about the money, right?
Yeah, it's all about the money.
No matter what, Floyd Mayweather's gonna win that. Like you said, has he made $70 million? Has he made $100 million? Has he made $30? No, he hasn't made any of that.
Then again, Mayweather's 38 years old.
Yeah.
How many fights has he put up there to get those prize money? And it takes two to tangle, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
On the other hand, McGregor's only 28, right? And the only thing he's only very few guys have been able to put up to that level. I think Jose Aldo was one of them.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather was lucky that De La Hoya was there to make sure, because De La was a money fight before Mayweather, and they just upped that thing.
Yeah.
And then Canelo being another.
Oh yeah, he had quality opponents.
It's also tough for Conor because it takes two to tangle.
Yeah.
And the competition is there. If he can somehow do someone like his version of Oscar De La Hoya and stuff like that. I mean, just imagine if for some in a crazy realm or crazy reason he fights GSP at 170 and he beats GSP.
Okay,
that's enough to
that's a good point.
Bump up to the $70 million.
Okay.
Those big money fights.
So obviously McGregor has a big ego, and it's what drives him. It's awesome. It's what people love. I'm a big fan of it. And his last fight, he said, "UFC, give me a piece of the pie, or I'm out of here." No, he said, I want ownership, right?
Yeah.
And if Mayweather's still throwing his face, hey man, get on my level with money wise. Stop talking to me. Do you see McGregor in the next couple of years doing his own promotions and maybe setting up him versus GSP where they get all the gate for it, like they both make $70 to $100 million on this? Because that's how McGregor that's how Mayweather makes his money. He's his own promotion.
People forget
he
that.
gets everything. That it's not like he's the UFC set up. That's how he makes his money. It's because it's Mayweather Money Promotions. That's how he makes his money. And if McGregor wants to get on that level ever, it can't be him and he can't be the UFC, taking more than half of the money. He needs to go on his own. So do you think at all, this kind of get in his head like, hey, I can't be Floyd Mayweather because I'm giving all my money to the UFC?
Yeah, and I think it really is going to come down. If he does not get a piece of that UFC pie, then it's not ridiculous to think of his own promotion. Just so you know, too, he just released his workout thing. It's called like McGregor Fast or Mac Life Fast.
Did you buy it or what? It's like Tybo or what?
Well, it's like a 12-week program to help you with your cardio and just pretty much get the most efficiency out of a training. He said this is what he used when he did the rematch against Nick Diaz, so his cardio can improve. But the big story isn't necessarily the program; it's the fact where his mindset's at. Like, well, I'm selling myself now, and now he's trying to brand McGregor with the whole Mac Life in the Mac Life lifestyle.
Yeah, and then pretty soon with the Mac Life grill, right?
Yeah,
the Mac Life blender.
The Mac Life blender. But don't be surprised, and I'm starting to see. I mean, I think he still needs to hook up with a better marketing person.
Yeah.
But I see where his head's at, and it wouldn't. That's why. But my point was, it's not ridiculous to think that if UFC doesn't cave in, you just go promote himself.
Yeah.
Imagine that GSP versus McGregor.
McGregor Promotions, Notorious Fights presents McGregor versus GSP. I mean, I'd buy it. So that's it for today's show. I think all for McGregor, man. All for fighters get more money. Hey, man, this is what this country's made out of, capitalism. So I want to thank everybody for listening. But before we wrap up today's show, I want to give a huge shout out to one of our sponsors, one of our partners, Fightbook MMA. FightbookMMA.com is the only place where you'll find real combat sports news from all over the world. A website you can trust with accurate news from MMA, kickboxing, boxing, from local promotions to all the major ones like UFC, Bellator, World Series of Fighting, Golden Boy Promotions, PBC, Lion Fight, all of them. All you think of, they're being covered on the fight, even from local fighters to the major ones. So they're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and of course that's FightbookMMA.com. They have a great podcast page as well, different and unique podcasts covering the combat world. We're on there as well. I think might be one of the top ones on there, but I'm a little biased. But FightbookMMA.com, and please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVE Round MMA. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic, and please visit FiveRoundMMA.com. And thank Guillermo Cedar from calling us from the happiest place on earth, and as he always does. Albert, what do you got?
I just want to say thanks to everybody. If you didn't check out NXT in Canada, it was pretty good, I heard, eh?
We got Goldberg versus Lesnar coming up today, too. Coming up later on this week. We'll see how that goes. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Fight Radio.